So for this class, I would like you to, first of all, just kind of try to forget about jiu-jitsu for a little bit. Just kind of put jiu-jitsu on a shelf for an hour. And what we're going to do is just talk about kind of one thing that I think is one skill that's really good to have in jiu-jitsu that's going to improve your game a lot, is just being able to move our hips better. The better we are at moving our hips, the better we are at scrambling, escaping, creating opportunities and stuff. Unfortunately, jiu-jitsu really allows us to be lazy in this department because we have the guard. So you don't have to move your hips very much. You basically just need like a little something to put in some kind of hook, and now you can play the game again. Yeah. Whereas I would say pretty much every other grappling sport in existence has a huge focus on hip movement, like constant hip movement, bridging, running, shooting, spinning, all this stuff. But in jiu-jitsu, kind of our level of technology is basically this. Yeah, that's basically all we teach and do is just kind of frame and swim. Yeah? That is moving your hip, and it's valuable, but it's kind of simple, right? I think we can work more on this, and maybe if you're lucky, you'll even do like a strip and even go to the knees. Yeah, like that's the limit. That's how much hip movement we usually talk about. So I think there's a lot to learn. If you ever like roll with like competitive judo players, sambo players, wrestlers or something, you know it's an absolute fucking bitch to try to hold them down. Because they're like this, you just cannot hold them. And there's a reason for that. It's because they spend a lot of time on moving their hips all the time. Yeah? And I think instead of being annoyed by it, we should try to learn from it. So I think there's a lot to learn from these grappling arts, and I think one of the major differences is that we just don't focus a lot on hip movement. We say we do, but we don't really. Yeah? So what I want you to do is forget about jiu-jitsu for a little bit. Forget about all the what-ifs in your head. But what if there's a submission here or something? Yeah? Try to forget about that, and let's just try to be better at moving our hips around. Yeah? I'm going to throw you right into a kind of a little game, a little drill that we do all the time at home, just so you have some context for what I'm going to talk about. Yeah? And the game is really, really simple. I'm going to need the perfect demonstration. You are basically the perfect human for this. Okay, so we do a very simple drill. I start in any position I want, yeah, and all he's going to do is try to kind of catch and control my hip a little bit. Yeah? So he's not really going to go like super hard and pin me or anything. He's just kind of try to control my hip a little bit. Yeah? If he manages to hold it so I can't get out, he lets go. He lets me run away a little bit, and then he goes for my hip again. Yeah? There are no other kind of rules or anything you should do. Just basically kind of hunt for the hip a little bit, and the other person try to remove the hip a little bit. You can be as creative as you want. Yeah? So without further ado, do you want to try to control my hip a little bit? Sure. Go.
Good luck.
Go. Yeah, he can let me go and then catch me again. Come on, take it. Hit it. Spin, 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 spin. Go, go, go. And if it's too difficult for him, I'm kind of going to let him take it. Take it. And then I go again. Yeah, go. I can stand up a little bit. We don't have so much space for it. Yeah? That's it. Try to be creative. This was a perfect pace. Yeah? Try to play a little bit like, like a cat caught a mouse and they let it go. So then they catch it again. Like this, yeah? Don't catch it and kill it. Yeah? Right away. So, spread out a lot. Yeah? Go again, but don't make it look like this. Okay, try to catch my hip. You ready? Go, catch it, catch it, catch it. Yeah, okay. We kind of need a little bit of back and forth, yeah? If you can't get it, I'm going to give the hip to him. Just do this. Yeah? And then we go. Yeah? And if I'm completely stuck, if I can't get out, he's going to let me go. And then he can catch again, yeah? Okay, you have to go a little bit give and take all the time, okay? So this is a nice little drill for also just for a warm-up, or we play it in many different intensities and with different kind of varieties of the rules of the game, but the foundation is always just this. One person is hunting the hip, the other person is trying to free the hip. That's it. Yeah. So the skill of moving your hip is extremely valuable because in scramble situations, in any situations where you're not stuck, yeah, and this is a very important point. In any situation where you're not stuck, if you can create distance with your hip, then you have a huge advantage in terms of reversing or escaping or even just standing up and walking away. Yeah? So that's what we're trying to do. Whenever there's a kind of a non-static situation, I just want to have a habit of just moving my hip like this all the time. I think maybe some of you have training partners who are like that. They're not very good, but if you pass their guard, do you ever have anyone who's like, once you pass their guard, they don't do anything but just shrimp like crazy, and they might not be very good, but it's still annoying that you can't really finish that guard pass, right? So that's like a really simplistic version of it, yeah? What we want to do is to prolong scrambles, make them as long as possible, and then be able to create distance with our hip, yeah? The more I can create distance with my hip to my opponent, the easier it's going to be for me to get out, or reverse, even get on top, yeah? I'll use it as a sweep, as a reversal all the time. So what helps a lot is that if you have good defensive structures on bottom, if you have shit bottom positioning, then it's going to be really difficult. If you have strong defensive positions on bottom, then things are much easier. I'll just say that right now. So if you did not practice bottom defensive structures, then this is going to be more difficult. Yeah? Now, that was a little bit of context, just a drill. So now let's just put that aside and then just talk a little bit about ideas of how to move my hip better, or more than just shrimping. Yeah? So again, forget about jiu-jitsu, please. I'm just gonna give you like 3 or 4, depending on how you're doing, 3 or 4 ideas of how I can move my hip along. Yeah? So one could be, one could be a shrimp, yeah? But one could also be, I'll be on my back, and I imagine someone is here. Yeah, not for now, they're not. And then what I do is I turn away like this. Yeah? And I can turn my back all day long. Yeah? As Charles always says, there's a huge difference between showing my back and giving my back. Yeah, there's 2 very different things. I show my back all the time whenever. There's no problem with that. Just don't give your back. But again, that comes back to defensive structures. Now, I turn away like this, and then I'm going to try to move my hip from here really far away. Yeah? And what do? I make a little kind of tripod. You all do this drill to warm up? Ever? White belts? Yeah. Always think, why the fuck am I doing this? But now you finally get to use it. Yeah. Because no one does this at stance up. Come on, they get kicked in the face. We've seen that in MMA. Now, on the side, one shoulder, one foot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of shoot my hip out like this. Right? So, if you imagine there's like there's a line here and a line here. I start on this line. I want to go 90 degrees, as far down as that one as possible. Yeah. So I'm going to go like this. Yeah. And you see how much distance I can travel with my hip? Yeah. If my opponent is here and he wants to control my hip, he needs to go pretty far now to catch it. Yeah? I go here, I create distance. Right? And what I find is important is don't do this. I can't do it. Like, I don't know what some people do. They kind of like roll. Yeah, I like to go sideways and then just look and run. A few details that are super important is that in any sport in the world, wherever you want to generate force, you need to look first. Yeah? Head turns, and then you go that way. There are no sprinters running like this. Yeah? Or like, I don't even know. Tennis, they don't like look one way. I don't even know how it works. Yeah? Inside any sport. So I go. I want to go that way, so I look first. I look, and then I run, and move my hand, right? And now, the context is super important because if you can create distance with your hip, you can insert whatever game you prefer from here. Yeah? Some people might want to create distance so they can pull guard, and play guard. Other people might want to go distance and reshoot. So people might want to stand up or whatever you want to do. And even some weirdos would like to go distance and then invert. Stupidest invention of jiu-jitsu for back health, by the way. Horrible idea. But it doesn't really matter. The point is that if you can move your hip far away from your opponent, you can kind of pick and choose your game from there, right? So it's a fundamental mechanical skill that you just need to be better. So we can try now, without kicking each other in the head. Go on the side, line your hip, and just go to this. Yeah? And if you want, you can imagine pull guard, reshoot, stand up, invert. I don't know what to do. It doesn't matter. So that's not really complicated, right? Probably even easier than a straight. So now, let's just try and put it in a slight context. So my partner's on his back, yeah, and you just turn away from me a little bit. And for now, I just kind of exist in this space. Yeah, I'm not going to put any weight on him or hold him anything. Remember, super important point, if he's stuck, let's say he's stuck here, this is not the time for him to move. Yeah, that is too late. Yeah? Or if he's here, like this, now he can't run his hip away. Right? So now he lost the opportunity. Right? So that's why we got to talk about scrambles and frames and stuff. But first things first, just move a little bit. I will just exist here. I will just caress his arm with my chest. That's it. Yeah, and all he's doing is he's just trying to look over his shoulder first, yeah, and then run far away. Yep, and he's just trying to move his hip as far away from me as possible, right? I guess you can all see, if he could do that in any situation here when he's on bottom, then it's a really long way for me to catch up with the hip, right? So you try that first, right? Just kind of exist here. Yeah, go on your side, please. Just kind of exist, and he runs away. Yeah, good. Thank you. Then next time I can maybe try to put just 10% weight on it. Almost nothing, yeah? Just to give him a feel of it. And now I can try to move my weight a little bit. I can be up high, I can be a little bit low, and he can kind of sense that there's someone here, yeah? So just start with that, and you can switch on your own. Just do like a few minutes to get a sense of moving with someone there, yeah? And then we talk a bit about a few simple frames to make it easy, right? Let's go try. Now, we could dive deep into this rep, but the key is that you just find different ways of moving your hip, right? So this could be where I will not do this, yeah? Where I would not do this. Let's imagine he's passing my guard. Pass my guard. Okay. Too late, right? Go back. So, be in my guard. Wait, just stay. Too early, yeah? So, I gotta find somewhere in between those two, yeah? That is my window of opportunity, yeah? So, from the moment I realized that now I don't have a guard anymore, right? And that's a skill to know, right? Because sometimes people are like, he's passing my guard, I'm thinking, I got the guard. I can still play guard. Okay, now I can, yeah? Then I don't have the skills to read the situation and know when it's too late, yeah? So when he starts passing a little bit, yeah, there's like a certain point where it's like, okay, now that's it. I'm not gonna get the guard back, okay? And now it's my time to go. And between now and now, that was my opportunity to start scrambling, yeah? With the unfortunate culture, the rules of jiu-jitsu, what usually will happen is that I will just stay flat on my back and maybe try to play a little bit of guard, yeah? Because I am allowed to. It's also totally fine. I just think there's a lot of value in being able to, he starts passing, I was like, okay, guard is gone. Yeah? Now I start moving. And I want him to chase me now for like 2 minutes before he gets that top position. Yeah, I don't want this to be easy for him. If he actually starts to initiate a good pass, that's where the fight begins. Yeah. The same if he let's say, you speak this way. Like this. If I go here and my initial instinct is like, okay, guard, yeah, then I'm gonna definitely be on my back. But if my instinct is this, go, go. Get the sweep. Get the sweep. Yeah. So that's where the fight should begin for him. If someone takes me down, I'm here, now the fight begins. The takedown was the easy part to get me here. But now I wanted to try to catch me for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and really work for it to get the actual finish, yeah? So, for this to work, I need to know when to go, yeah? And that's the difficult part of this. The movement is easy, right? Now, I can either go very early, so let's say he's passing, and now there's still plenty of space. Yeah? I cannot go very late when I'm stuck, and in between early and late there are frames. Yeah? So it could be something like he's passing. Go pass. See? I just create a frame and I allow myself to move. It could be a later frame, like Charles is doing a lot of this. Brilliant stuff. Yeah? Try to get side control. It's really difficult, right? Or be kind of, I do like kind of late, really late frames, so he's kind of on my side, and I like frames like this. Right? Yeah, try to get side control. Right, it's really difficult. But the point is that I don't care what frame you're doing, yeah? You just gotta know that you can either start running before he's got anything, or you need to put some kind of frame. Maybe a frame on the face, on kind of, you can use your forearms, you can frame the arms, you can frame any way you want to create a little bit of space for yourself. But if you get stuck, then it's too late, then you lost the opportunity, yeah? So try the same now, with you're on the side, turn away, and now I will be here, and he can put a frame on me. Any frame he wants, yeah? Just a little, yeah, anyway. I put a little bit of weight on it, yeah? And now you try to run. Look first, look, and go, yeah? You go back, try another frame. Yeah, it could be on my head, I say forward. Turn away, with your forearm. Yes, thank you. Okay, weight on it, go. That's it, yeah? Okay? One that I really, really like, just because it's cool, is if I have an underhook, he can frame here on my face. Yeah, just kind of back elbow and then start running. I can't get my weight on the heel. That's it. And it's cool because I can do this. Take the underhook. Then, it's like a 1920s judo book of moving the hip differently than the shrimp. Yeah. So move the hip really far, create a lot of distance. When you practice, you move it like a full Christian length. Yeah. But in sparring this more dynamically, it might just be just this much distance, but it might be enough to do something, to get out. Anyway, so to do it, you need frames or to be very, very early. Like he's not even attached to me yet, then I can move. If he starts attaching, I need some kind of frames. And you can invent any frame you want. Yeah, I like to grab the wrist, I like to frame on the head. I like to do all kinds of weird things, but might not work for you. It doesn't really matter. You just kind of got to create some kind of frame so your hip is a little bit free. Yeah. Now. Let's try the next one. I don't need you right now, sorry. I mean, not in general. Like, wow. So, the next one will be, I'm sitting, yeah? It's kind of like a sitting turtle position. Basically, all defensive positions are the exact same, yeah? Guard, sitting turtle, someone behind me, turtle here, and on my side. It's all the same position, right? Just flipped. So anyway, so I sit, someone is behind me. And what I want to do is create a lot of distance with my hip. So again, I will do this, warm up drill, day one jiu-jitsu, right? So I'm gonna create one frame, one post on my side, could be the hand or the elbow. I prefer the elbow for beginners because usually they put the hand out here and open this space a lot. So you could just use the elbow. Yeah, so I sit and I just put one elbow on the mat, opposite foot. And now what I try to do is a sliding tackle, yeah? You know football, right? Real football? Soccer? Soccer is abbreviation for association football. Thank you. So I go like this, yeah, and I slide my hip really far. You get more distance like this, but then you also give up the space a little bit. So it's kind of a balance. Yeah? So you create a post, a foot, and then I slide. Yeah, catch the ball or the base, whatever you do. Right? And now I created some space with my hip, and now I can play whatever game I want. Yeah? I can pull guard, I can invert, I can play turtle, I can reshoot, I can stand up, or I can even, let's imagine I'm ahead on points. And I'll stay here for 3 minutes. A completely legitimate way of winning points jiu-jitsu. It's no different than just playing close guard. Yeah. So I'll be here, but it doesn't matter. I just try to create distance with the hand. Shoot. Oh, if you wear spats and do it on this sticker, that's really nice. You can slide really far. Yeah. Shoot. And what you will do, a lot of you, is you're really accustomed to, you want to turn back to your opponent, which is not really necessary, is that people start doing this. Just turn right away. Don't do it. The one thing that you try to do is just to move your hip as far down that line as possible. Yeah, forget about turning back to them. It doesn't really matter. If I can be here and my partner is here, my opponent is there, then I can do whatever I want. Yeah? But if I don't have that as my first priority, then it's difficult. So if you want now, you can just go to your knees. Just shoot, go to your knees, maybe even pull guard. Right? So you can try that first on your own, and after, you can have someone behind you, or just kind of, again, just put the chest a little bit, not too much weight. Again, if I'm stuck, it's too late. Yeah, I just want to feel him there. Shoot and go. That's it. Right, we'll start with that first, and then we can add a few details, not make it too weird. Okay. Easy enough, right? So one little variation of this that's kind of weird, kind of strange, is that one, I can build a base, and then I can use that to slide. But sometimes I can also stay where I am and kind of like scoot like this to get out, and I can't. There's no nice way to show this. It's freaking weird. So if someone is behind me, usually, just put some pressure on my back a little bit. Yeah, I can use that to move my hip out and take my short swing. So let's try it. That's really weird. And then get out. Depending on your attire, this is easier or more difficult. If you have wrestling shoes and spats, that's like just get out. No? And this one you can try just with someone behind, but also even if he's got like a kind of a seatbelt grip like this, I can just kind of try to go out. This is such a weird position. Because I'll just stay here. What are you gonna do? So you can try that first, just with a little bit of weight behind me, like just that, yeah. And I try to scoot out or shoot out, and if he's got my hip, then I can try to break the grip like that. You can walk or slide as you want. Yeah. Once you've done that, you can do the exact same thing standing up. Hold. One of my strangest escapes. I love it. And this is a super valuable direction of moving your hip, especially in back take situations. It's very often where, as a joke, I will let people start taking my back and use that to get back on, to get on top. It's actually easier sometimes than a sweep to just get in kind of a half back take situation, slide my hip away and turn around. It's weird that that is easier than sweeping from guard, right? So if he's kind of about to take my back, take my back. Yeah. And strangely enough, I end up on top easier than, I don't recommend it, but it's just a weird kind of thing. Okay, so try it. Shoot your hips straight out, either by like crawling or shooting with a grip, standing up, same thing. Okay? Again, forget about jiu-jitsu, please. Yeah? Put jiu-jitsu aside, just move your hip forward. For jiu-jitsu, a very uncommon motion. So just move your hip forward. And I find it incredibly useful. I use it to escape all the time. Now, once you create the distance, you can do whatever you want. There's one thing, especially from this position, that I learned, by the way, all my wrestling from short clips on Instagram, kids from Dagestan and stuff, their wrestling classes. You know, there's always this old grandfather with gray sweatpants and a loose T-shirt and a stopwatch. But they know what they're doing, these kids, yeah. And I pick up a lot of shit from there. That's how I learn wrestling, from the Dagestani kids on Instagram. And one of the things they do a lot is that as they escape, it's like they escape out in the scramble, kind of catch the head on the way out. And it's such a no-no in jiu-jitsu to extend your arm like this. Honestly, it's like one of my best reversals. Remove my hip as I spin, catch something behind me, and use that to win the wrestling scramble and get on top. Especially from this position, it's so kind of happens kind of a lot. And I'm here, you know, it's right there. And now you can end up in kind of a weird pin situation, or even from side control. If we do, I'll be here, yeah, and just kind of move up and go. So, Gracie family didn't come up with that shit for sure. Anyway, I know it's a little bit of sidetrack, but I really love it. It's just so foreign to me. 25 years of jiu-jitsu, and I never thought of catching someone's head behind my back, and it's like one of my best escapes by far. You know, shoot my hip out, catch the head, and win that scramble, because they get stuck with the head lower than me, and usually I can get on top. And it's weird that sweeping from bottom side control and from this position is easier than from the guard. That's kind of weird. No. Now, we'll do just one more, and then we try to tie it all together. Yeah? So one other thing I can do is to start moving my hip is, now we moved our hip kind of in a circle, yeah? And we moved our hip kind of straight line, but I can also try to move my hip up, yeah? And just, if you did Rob's class yesterday, probably ties together very well. If you watch I'll give it. So, if I'm stuck a little bit on bottom, yeah, there's one thing that's really nice is that if my lower body is stuck, I can usually turn my upper body. and the other way around. If my upper body's stuck, I can turn my lower body. So if let's say if my legs are stuck, I can't really turn them a lot, but I can twist my upper body. Yeah. So what I can try to do is turn like that and create a base with my upper body. And now, because my upper and lower body is connected, thank God, I can now twist my lower body as well. That's super strong motion. Yeah. So, but if I try to be here and I try to kind of go to my hands and feet like this, I have no power. Yeah? But if I create a base like hands behind me, now I can really have a lot of power in elevating my hip. And if you watch like high-level no-gi jiu-jitsu, then basically one of the most used escapes, I think, in the latest 80cc was people stand up and just run away and used to do like a front flip. Yeah, it's weird, but that's like one of the most common escapes. And if you watch the statistics for UFC, the #1 escape is build a base and stand up. Right? That's what they do all the time. And this is against people who are the best in the world at knocking you out and choking you out. Right? Like the highest level, professional athletes. If that's the #1 escape, we should look into that. Yeah? So we can do some kind of situation where, let's say there's a little bit of, my lower body is stuck somehow. Oh, that was very stuck. Not so strong. So my lower body is kind of stuck. Yeah. Remember, if he's got a pin, it's too late. Yeah. But we're kind of in a scramble, guard passing, takedown situation, whatever. I build a base behind me with my hands, rotate, twist as much as I can, and now I can start to go. Yeah. And from here, I have many options. Yeah. I could stand up, and he's gonna kind of have to follow. Yeah. And then from here, I could try to break the grip. I could walk out. I can even just run and jump. You need a little bit more space for it, but that's apparently the best escape there is. Just literally run and dive. Yeah? He's gonna have to let go or face plant. Those are his two options. So, and you know what's really nice about this, about standing up as an escape, is that so many people in jiu-jitsu, they don't do any stand-up at all because of the rules. It's okay to not do that. You can go through your entire jiu-jitsu career, all the way to black belt, and win major titles with having zero takedown game. Right? That's just how the game. That's just how it is. Nothing wrong with that if you just want to play the sports game. Personally, I like to play to understand grappling in the widest possible aspect. So the funny thing is that this is one of the weirdest escapes or reversals that I know of. Right? Let's say I'm here, and you twist, yeah, twist your lower body now. You stand up, and I'm like, fuck, I have no takedowns. Oh God. That actually happens quite often. Yeah, and that was kind of a takedown for him in the weirdest possible sense. Yeah? So just because the standard is so low, sometimes if you just stand up, they will sit down. It's like, well, easy, take it. So anyway, now I can go twist, stand, and I can go from here. I can start running and rolling. I can stand up, and I can start breaking the grip, just start wrestling basically. Move my hip out, run and roll, or of course. Go here, yeah, you chase me a little bit. And now what do? Go out here. My hip, switch. Right? So you can connect those things. Up. Now we're back to this one. Up, Pakistani children's wrestling class. Up, yeah? So, going to your hands and feet is an incredibly valuable skill. If you have strong defensive postures. Yeah? If you haven't practiced showing your back, then you're just gonna get choked up. Yeah, that happens. So. But let's try that a little bit. Twist, twist, twist. Get to your hands and feet. Stand up, or basically even just, if this was the game, to be honest. Right? Wait for the time to run out and win by points. So, okay, let's try. We can keep going for a while and do like 20 more, but just a few kind of different tools to move your hip, different from shrimping. Yeah. So one is like a circular motion where I kind of run sideways. Yeah, remember to always look. Yeah, the other one is kind of a straight line that I move my hip out. Either sliding, running, or doing something like that. Yeah? And the last one is basically trying to elevate my hip. So I go here, and then I see what happens. It might also be go straight into defending, reshooting, standing up, sliding out, running, jumping, whatever. Yeah. The key is the more that you can distance your hip from your opponent, the more you can move it all the time, the more annoying you are to the person who are on top. Yeah. The best thing I know is if I pass someone's guard and they just like, let's do this. Yeah, I have to fight so little because they just kind of, that's all, right? So now let's try to do a little kata and put it all together in a solo drill. So you can just be on your own, just to kind of try to imagine cool shit, yeah? So I'm here, oh, I'm just gonna pass my guard. The frame looks so cool. There you go. Pull guard again. Yeah, oh shit, he goes to my back. Slide. Breaks me down. Yeah, go. Now I can do it because there's no day. Escape. Reshoot. I got stuck. Oh, fuck. Build a frame. Run. Something like that. Okay? You just kind of have a little cool fantasy in your head about how you escape like in all kinds of sweet ways. Yeah? Try to do it on your own just for like a minute. I recommend you can do that as a warm-up as well. It's a really nice warm-up. There's a lot of motion opening the hip all the time, creating those instincts of just moving your hip. Try on your own for a minute, and then we try to put it back in a drill. Okay? Let's go. So kind of the formula is this. The more distance I can create with my hip, the easier life is going to be for me. Whether I want to re-wrestle, stand up, pull guard, play inverted guard, whatever you want to do. If you can be on bottom and move your hip really far away, that makes your life easier, right? So that's a good skill to have. Shrimping is one way of doing it, but you can move your hip in all kinds of ways. Yeah? And to do it, you must understand kind of the timing of it. Because if you're stuck, you cannot, right? If you're in any kind of position where they have full control on top and you're on bottom, that's not your time to move. Yeah? You got to find the scrambles where the pressure is off, and then you shoot your hip out. Yeah? And one way to practice this really easier for yourself is that, let's say at open mat, if I'm kind of beginner and it's open mat, someone is in my guard and they pass, like fuck, shit. Oh yeah, Christian just told me to move. Now it's too late, yeah? Because I can't anticipate it. So what I'll just do in every single open mat round, I'll give myself a task that I will, whenever I'm in guard, I'm gonna let him pass. And then try to escape really early. Yeah? Just round my hip away in any way you want. It could also just be this. Yeah? Just once every round. Yeah? Give yourself a little mission. Yeah? Because then you have 100% anticipation of what's gonna happen. There's no surprise. Yeah? The surprise element is gonna kill it for you for a while. But if you can predict the situation, then it's easier to practice, right? And then you can try to make it a little bit more difficult for you instead of, okay, ready to pass. Yeah? Okay, so next time maybe I'm gonna let you pass. One frame. Yeah? Just make a little bit more difficult for myself every time. Right? And that builds that instinct of the moment there is kind of an in-between situation, you know, between a guard pass, a sweep, a transition, a takedown. Yeah? In that time of that little space, yeah. If you're a beginner, that space is very, very short because you're like, it's like this. From now until now, yeah, it was literally like not even a second. Yeah? But you want to expand it. Yeah? So once there's a situation where they almost start passing, you want to try to stretch that moment of time to be a minute. Yeah? Even like a few seconds to begin with, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. As you get better, if they take you down past the guard, that fight should be 30 seconds, 20 seconds. And the key for you is to move your hip, move your hip, move your hip, move your hip. Find escapes, snatch the head, all this stuff. Stand up, reshoot. Just be super annoying about it. Now, let's try to go back to the drill from the beginning. We did it first without any context, and now you have a bit of idea of other ways of moving your hip. Yeah, so we do the exact same drill. One person is going to try to hunt the hip a little bit, and you're going to try to move it away. Yeah? And now you have a few more tools in your toolbox. So I think what we will do, we start a little bit late, so we're going to go 5 minutes over time. We'll split in 2 groups so we have more room to move. Yeah? And one group go, and the other group goes. Right? So I'm going to split you up, so let's just say everyone here, you sit out. Everyone else, you grab a partner, and you spread out. And then we just do